Hey everyone, so I wanted to analyze what I think every rank can take from this VCT tournament. This video is focused on what I think gold and plat players can take away from the game in terms of game sense and gameplay, and I'll get into a little bit more nuance than I did in my iron through bronze video.
And they still managed to control B main, this time with a cascade though.
Pushes through the wall.
He's ahead of it.
This is insane.
He's
No
gotta
one's
be
gonna
careful
check
though, they're
this.
behind him. Oh my gosh, Life! How do you get away with that? Seeing it though, trying to strike back.
Blocking fire.
Getting a kill to keep things competitive and keep it close. As we're down to 3 apiece.
But they don't have bomb control.
And there's no TP, there's no Omen to get there. So they're gonna have to fight through this FPX defense. And that's just to get the spike. A borderline impossible situation. Faces the attack side. But the need to solve it is ever great. The truth is, they don't have a ton of time either. 40 seconds left, they gotta swing, they gotta take these fights, and so far they've gone the way of FUT. Life has been good, but is he gonna be good enough to get him?
Okay, so this is going to be, again, for both gold and plat, it's really just kind of a lesson in what you should hold when you have spike here. So spike's down right here. Earlier in the round, just to kind of set up the stage, earlier in the round there was someone on B that discovered that there were 2 people in this direction. So they had intel that there were going to be people coming from B main to try and recover the spike. What I would have loved to see here, and something that I would love to see more in gold and plat lobbies, is this idea of kind of maximizing coverage, right? So you have your Yoru looking in this direction, which is great. And then earlier in the round, before the Fade and Omen died, you had them looking at the exact same thing. But they did have a good bit of time to kind of reposition and set this up just a little bit better. So here's what I'm talking about. Rather than holding 2 people looking this direction, I would prefer having one person here, play contact on that one person or on those people that you have, and then have a person kind of move over here to help the Yoru out. The reason being, the Yoru is more vulnerable to different areas of attack here, whether it's through market, whether it's through spawn, than the person here is. Again, the goal is to maximize your coverage in terms of who's covering what and who's playing what contact. If you have somebody playing contact here, like they already had somebody playing contact here, they had both of them playing contact and then kind of moving back into like a position over here and then kind of back up to here. If you have someone playing contact here, then help the Yoru out a little bit more. So maybe this Yoru can now kind of focus either over in market, or he can hold a slightly more passive angle like this, with this person holding a more aggressive angle this way. Again, it's just layering the amount of information that this team, so FUT in this instance, has to combat, right? So if you think about it, it's much easier for FUT to know, okay, well, there's 3 left. We spotted 2 of them here. One of them's probably somewhere mid. So now they know how to isolate those fights. Versus you have one person spotting here, contacting. Now the team here, so FUT knows, okay, there's one person here. We still have to figure out where the other 2 are. One of them could be mid. One of them could potentially be lurking across this way to kind of flank us. One of them could be top mid. One of them could be maybe still here, but behind this. There's a lot more guesswork and investigative work, so to speak, that this team has to do now. So I would have loved to see them kind of maximize that coverage is all. And I think as it relates to gold and plat lobbies, especially in scenarios where you have the spike, you want to maximize the coverage of what you are holding and what the enemy is going to have to re-clear as they come look for the spike. So just keep that in mind. Again, there are times where you want to have multiple people holding one angle. For instance, if there's like a 2v1, the spike is down, and you're holding like a high-low, that's totally fine. But in this instance, just play contact with one person, have somebody over here, hold passive and aggressive angle. And this would have gone a lot differently, I believe, if you had that kind of a setup, because there's much more for them to have to play around and clear. So
I don't know if he's aware.
It doesn't seem like it's going to get smoked. The turret will catch it. Oh, no!
Spike down, attacker spawn.
But they're going to be able to all pick the spike back up and rotate back. The problem is Autumn's not here with them. So Lightstar's on a solo mission.
Do
He's
it.
just got to buy some time. No, don't do it. You got to buy some time. Now, the lockdown invested. Lightstar dancing around it. Look at it, takes the fight.
All right, so let's discuss this round. This one is super weird, and I'm not sure where the issue was for FUT here, but it's something that I also see in like Plat Diamond lobbies, and it's this weird tendency to continue peeking after you put down a KJ ult. In this instance, I can maybe see the argument for the fact that they kind of have to protect it because these two are feeling the pressure of either backing out to this corner or pushing it to kind of clear it. And I think that that's fair. However, you have to realize and you have to play for the fact that you are the one creating pressure here. So in FUT's case, with the KO and the KJ back here, let's just ignore the fact that there was somebody just out here peeking long for no reason. Let's just pretend that they were the only two left and this was a 2v2, which is how it played out. You have the one way over here. So they're Clove one-way bridge. So they don't have to really focus on this angle too much because they can kind of see them coming. You place the KJ ult down and then both of them, KO and KJ, immediately swing out. And I'm not saying that that was the wrong call. I'm just saying I see it way too often and it really shouldn't happen. You've put pressure on them now, right? Before they died, there was maybe 5-6 seconds. It was a little bit halfway, maybe a little bit less. That gives them 5 to 6 seconds to wait for this to clear, right? So there's a KO molly here. So they have to wait for the molly to clear. They have to now push up here. That's already 2 seconds, maybe 3. And then they have to kill both of you when you're sitting back here. If they don't do that, then they get detained and it's an easy kill. It's an easy pick because they're both detained. I don't understand why this still happens. In pro play, of course, that is without question, and this should never happen. But in Plat and Diamond lobbies, mostly Plat, I can still see this sometimes happening in Diamond, but I'm going to focus on Plat and a little bit of Gold. I would definitely recommend, once you place pressure creating utility down, don't let that utility go to waste the way that this just happened. You want to make sure that they are reacting and respecting to that utility. So once you place that KJ down, that ult down, force them to make a decision. Do they come out here and try to fight you in a scramble? Or do they come back here and respect it and reset? And now you and your team can reset as well. I don't know what happened here, but again, as someone in a solo queue, if you're playing KJ, I would highly, highly recommend let your utility, especially pressure creating utility, do the work for you and let it make the other agents on the enemy team feel that pressure. That's the most important thing.
But not nearly as fortunate. And because of that, they have to be really proactive with how they're approaching this defensive round. You mentioned that for the first 15 seconds, they don't really do anything.
Yeah.
This is a flip of the script. Paranoia in the face of Autumn dodges it. They're going to get hit by their trip, and I don't know that there's really anywhere for them to go.
Oh my gosh.
Krax gets 2?
Oh my gosh.
This is not supposed to be going this way.
Okay. So this is a pretty common thing that I see as well. I mean, in almost every lobby, with the exception of some of the Ascendant and Immortal lobbies I've seen or have been in, it's the concept of buying together on a save round. Sorry, not buying together, but saving together and pushing together. So you notice at the beginning of the round, there were 3 here on the defender side, and they were kind of pushing out here in order to try to get some sort of trades or some sort of essentially guns out of the attacker's hands, right? And they were successful in doing so. They actually killed 3 of the attackers here. And the reason that this is important is, I see this in gold lobbies specifically, the minute you lose, and look, I do it too when I'm on a team and we've just lost a potential buy round and we're on a save. We'll say something, or you'll hear somebody say something like, "Hey, let's just save and I'll push out mid," or "Let's just save and 5 stack B main," or "Save and 5 push out A," and that's never it's usually not going to work the way that you expect at gold in those queues, because generally speaking, with the 5-man push here, most people aren't going to be as coordinated to trade each other out. However, the concept still stands. What's important is that you are at the very least trying to get some guns out of the hands of the attackers here. And so even if you just send 2 or 3 people together with maybe light buys like sheriffs, or in some cases even stingers, depending on the economy, it's still better than nothing to send more than one person to push out of a choke and try to get at least 1 or 2 guns out of the hands of the defenders and maybe swing the round, right? So here you'll notice there's 2 left on attack and there's 3 left on defense. In this instance, they did their job, all without sacrificing an immediate loss by pushing all 5 out of here with the better rifles that are in the hands of these 2. So you'll notice there's still 2 Vandals left. If all 5 of them had pushed out here, so for example, in an alternative world, if they 5 stacked A main here, and they Omen and Harbor kind of came to help their teammates, it's more than likely that FUT would have ended up losing this round pretty much off the bat, because of the fact that they're fighting against Vandals, right? And you can only do so much with sheriffs, shorties, etc. But I would definitely recommend sticking with that concept as best as you can, just not overdoing it. You don't have to send 5 out of any choke point every single time you're in a save round. I know that it's easier to get that round over with and just kind of continue, but it is important to at least try. So I would recommend maybe doing 2 or 3 rather than 5. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, think about subscribing, and if not, then I'm not sure why you're still here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.